Okay, guys, I say that a lot, don't I? Sorry. So I teach English to kids, kind of like this in China. And there's this little girl that I have. Her name is Sophie, and I think she just turned 6 years old. And her English is okay, but she keeps. One time I was having a lesson with her. She's like, "Why do you say okay so much?" And I do. So sometimes I say funny things, and it's okay. But with you guys, I think I say okay, guys, all the time. What we're going to do is I want you to listen carefully as I read this section. We're going to read the whole thing. Don't freak out. It's not that bad because we're exercising our brains. You might not understand it all. That's okay. What I want to make sure what happens is that you're beginning to hear different things. And what I want you to hear is there's a problem with their learning. Just like we have a problem, right? We don't go to a school building right now, one, because there was COVID. So our parents decided that, and like Dr. Quibido, like the grown-ups at school decided that it's not necessarily safe to have so many precious children together. And then there was that hurricane, and that just messed everything up. So we have challenges. But remember, in this place, in South America, south of us, below Louisiana, in a jungle, these kids have problems too. We're going to find out the problem at the end of every paragraph. If you do skills, you'll remember a paragraph. You have paragraph 1, paragraph 2, paragraph 3. We're going to find out what the problem is and look for the solution. And I want you then to write down and tell me what that was. So let's get started. See if I can bring this a little bit bigger. Yeah. So again, when we read, make sure that you kind of look at the pictures and stuff. Not that it tells you all the answers, but it gives you a good idea. We always start out with the introduction. All right. It's a little bit different. Here we go. So let's find out. Machias lives in the remote village of Xishu, remote, remember, middle of nowhere, deep in the Brazilian rainforest, kind of like Rio. His village is on the banks of the Rio Negro. Rio, similar. And Negro is Portuguese for black. So like a black river maybe. And the only way to get there is by boat. No airplanes or roads. To get to the closest city, Manaus, it takes 5 days by canoe or 30 or 40 hours by speedboat. So you just can't go, like how I actually live in Radley, which is just a little bit north, a little bit above Lake Charles. It doesn't take me that long to get to work. But these people, if they want to go to the city, they have to go. It almost takes them a week if they go by a normal boat, or over a day to go by a fast boat. Wouldn't be going to the city very often. Until recently, the village was virtually cut off from the rest of the world. It means they don't go anywhere. There was no electricity and no phones. Without electricity or a connection to the outside world, the villagers found it hard to earn a living without turning to illegal hunting, trapping, or logging. The tiny one-room school offered only basic primary school, which was up to about grade 3. So guys, if you went to this school, you'd be almost done with school because they only taught up to 3rd grade. If students in the village wanted to go further in school, they had to move to Manaus. Could you imagine? So that would mean like next year, after you got done with 3rd grade, your mom would say, hey, I love you, but you're going to go move away and go to school. And you'd have to move away from your family just as a 3rd, 4th grader. Not fun. That's kind of a problem, I think. I mean, I'm a grown-up. I wouldn't want to move away from my family just to go to school when I'm used to living in the jungle, kind of like Jungle Book. If you haven't seen that movie, you should. Ugh. So there is kind of a problem. They can't go to high school. They can't get their learning done. Not a good thing. Not a good thing. Okay, that thing's bothering. I wonder if I can get rid of it. There we go. Okay, so there's kind of a problem. They live in a remote village. There's not a lot going on. And if they want to go to school and be bigger in their brains, they have to move away. Let's see this next one. A window to the world. In 2002, that's before you were born, but I was alive, so not too long ago. In 2002, everything changed. Working with a group called the Solar Electric Light Fund, called SELF, the villagers brought in solar panels. Solar panels, computers, a satellite system, and wireless internet equipment. We know a lot about wireless internet, or that we don't have good wireless internet. The internet opened up a whole new world of possibilities for the school and its students. They could access Brazil's online learning program, kind of like us, but Brazil is another country. We're the United States, they're Brazil. So there's a learning program which gives them the chance to get a high school education without having to leave their village. And they had access to a whole world of information right in their classroom without the need for expensive textbooks. We don't have textbooks right now either, huh? We use our computers. I'm showing you what could be a textbook, but it's all virtual. So you guys are kind of like twinsies in that. Today, the students in Shishu learn to work with computers, digital cameras, and the internet. You guys are definitely twinsies. Because think of it, computers, iPads, kind of the same thing. You have a camera on your iPad. I actually use my phone a lot in getting stuff ready for y'all. And the internet. I mean, internet is crazy. Some of you, like me, we have to go somewhere to get our internet. Others of you are staying at hotels or at people's houses, or maybe your own house. And sometimes the internet works great and other times not so much. But they connect with schools and children around the world. Adults use the school in the evenings to take online classes. Grown-ups even learn. They also book eco tours and run e-commerce businesses selling and locally made crafts. So there's a problem. They were remote. They didn't have a good school. They'd have to travel. Did they fix the problem? I think they did. What do you think? Stop and think. What happened? What happened for them to be able to go and learn about school? What fixed it? Ronnie's dying over there. He knows the answer, but it's not his place to tell. Remember Ronnie the Rhino from Skills? But I think, again, I'm looking back into my text. Computers fixed that. Wireless internet fixed that. Solar panels, we might not know what they are yet. And the satellite system. Those are all ways they fixed their problems. Let's see. Let's see how all these problems are fixed. Last part. Last part, learning from the forest. And my thing did not work. Learning from the forest. Chris Clark helped set up the school, which has changed what and how it teaches over the years. He says the main challenges for the kids were always the remoteness and the fact that the curriculum was invented in urban Sao Paulo, the largest city in Brazil. It bears no resemblance to their reality. Now our kids create some of their own material. We are trying to create a more relevant curriculum with subjects like forestry management, climate change, and ecosystems. Basically, he's saying that their first school stuff didn't make sense because it'd be like you learning about life on the moon. You don't live there, so it's no big deal. But what they're changing is that it's stuff that they live with. They live in the forest. They need to learn to take care of things, stuff like that. The school has helped the community gain a whole new appreciation for the reserve and its importance to the world. So they now know where they live is really important for the world. It's important to us even. It helps our air be cleaner. Since families no longer have to move to the city for their kids to finish school, they're able to stay on the reserve to help protect the forest they love. So again, the fix was learning better, learning how to do things, stuff like that. So solar panels, one more thing I want you to think about. If you look at the pictures, when I was a little girl, I would love to look at pictures, and then I had to actually read stuff. Don't do this, but I didn't like to read this stuff because there's too many words. I like to read the captions because they tell you about the pictures. Eventually, I grew up a little bit and I read more, but look at this. See the black glass stuff? Let's read the caption. Using solar panel to access the internet has shown the villagers how much the rest of the world values the rainforest. So, when we need power, we plug into the socket and there's electricity going through it. Actually, you can get electricity from the sun. You get these really cool special mirror things, and it gets the energy from the sun and it turns it into electricity. So they don't have to well, that would be a whole cool thing to show you, but you get electricity from a plant. It's not like the plants where maybe some of your parents work, not like the flower plant. But anyways, you get the different electricity is made through these huge machines, but they get their electricity from the sun, and that is a solar panel. And some of us have solar panels. Maybe in some of your cars, there's like the little toy thing that bobs its head all the time, and it has that little black strip. That is like a small solar panel. So we read about this. We read about the Amazon, how Machias and his village had a problem. What was their problem? I want you to stop and think about that. What's the challenge for them to go to school all the way to high school and have a good education? Thought about it? Keep it in your head. Next thing I want you to think about is what was the solution? And I'll give you a hint. The solution is here in the middle part, a window into the world. What did they have so that they could actually have school? They didn't have to travel so far away. Think through that. On the next page in Schoology, it should be better for you. I want you to answer the questions, what the problem was and how they solved it. Make sure you use a complete sentence. So not just problem remote. That doesn't make sense. Tell me why. And if you want to make me really happy, use the word because it's such a cool word. So anyways, great job, guys. I will see you later. Love ya.